श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महाराज की, प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, स्मिताई गौर सुंदर की, पतित पावन शिला प्रभुपाद की, समस्त गौर भक्तवृंद की, जय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्ठिकी। Coming from Granth Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 4, chapter number 20, text number 19. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Pati Panch Prabhupada ki jai. Chapter is entitled as Lord Vishnu's Appearance in the Sacrificial Arena. Text number 19. Bhagavan atha visvatma pithu no prahita arhanam समुज्जिहानया भक्त्या गृहीत चरणाम्बुजः भगवान् अथ विश्वात्मा
भगवान् विश्वात्मा
पितुनोपहृताहरः समुज्जिहानया भक्त्या गृहीत चरणाम्बुजः भगवानथ विश्वात्मा पितुनोपहृताहरणः सम्मुजिहानया भक्त्या गृहीत चरुणाम्बुजः भगवानथ विश्वात्मा पितुनोपहृताहरणः समुजिहानया भक्त्या गृहीत चरणाम्बुजः विश्वात्मा पितुनोपहृताहरणः समुजिहानया भक्त्या गृहीत चरणाम्बुजः भगवानथ विश्वात्मा पितुनोपहृताहरणः समुजिहानया भक्त्या गृहीतया चरणाम्बुजः भगवानथ विश्वात्मा पितुनोपहृताहरणः समुज्जिहानया भक्त्या चरणाम्बुजः. What forward meaning? Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atha, thereupon. Vishwa Atma, the Super Soul. Prithuna, by King Prithu. Upahita, being offered. Arhanaha, all the paraphernalia for worship. Sammujihanaya, gradually increased. Bhaktaya, whose devotional service. Grihita, taken. Charanambujaha, his lotus feet. Translation purport by Divine Grace, La Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. King Prithu abundantly worshipped the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was so merciful to him. While worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Prithu Maharaja gradually increased his ecstasy in devotional service. King Prithu abundantly worshipped the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was so merciful to him. While worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Prithu Maharaj gradually increased his ecstasy in devotional service. Purport. When various ecstasies appear in the body of a devotee, it is to be understood that his devotional service has become perfect. There are many types of transcendental ecstasies in the form of crying, laughing, perspiring, falling down, and crying like a madman. All these symptoms are sometimes visible on the body of a devotee. They are called Ashta Sattvika Vikara, which means 8 kinds of transcendental transformations. They are never to be imitated, but when a devotee actually becomes perfect, these symptoms are visible on his body. The Lord is Bhakta Vatsala, which means that he is inclined towards its pure devotee, Bhakta. Therefore, the transcendental ecstatic transaction between the Supreme Lord and his devotees never like the activities of this material world. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घ्यायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्. So we know the context that Pitu Maharaj, he desired to conduct 100 Aswamedh Yajna, not for any sense gratification or for any material desires, to fulfill any material desires, because he was a pure devotee, he did not have any material desires. His desire, only desire to conduct this Aswamedh Yajna was to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That was his motive. And he successfully performed 99th, and the 100th was being conducted. Some became envious, and he tried to stop him by various uh, uh, wrong practices. Then see that uh, Lord himself appeared, and Lord himself appeared. Then Lord appeared and settled all the matters. So this is a very interesting pastimes, because are all able to hear, Prabhu? So it's very interesting pastimes where we see that there are two devotees. There is a disagreement. Indra is also devotee. He's not an ordinary devotee. Actually, he is such an important person that Lord has given him the responsibility of being in charge of all the devas. All the universal affairs are maintained by them, and he is in charge of all of them. So such a big responsibility. We see that uh, while performing devotional service, we get responsibility in some department like that. Then somebody gets responsibility little higher, like that. Somebody becomes the uh, even the prime minister or president of a country. Like that, it keep going up. He was in charge for all the devas, king of all the devas. So such a big time responsibility here. So that responsibility was given by the Lord to him. So he was also a great devotee. He was not ordinary personality, but somehow or other, because we are in this material world, we get subjected to contamination of this material world. The contamination is material desires. This is the contamination. Nashta prayesu abhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya. It's mentioned that this material desires is eliminated to almost nil by regularly hearing topics connected with the Supreme Lord, Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya, or his pure devotees. You see that there was somehow uh, this uh, disagreement because of some material desires which Indra possessed. Otherwise, there is no scope of any disagreement. Disagreement is there because there is somehow some material desires influenced. Either one party or both the parties are influenced by some material desires. So there is a disagreement. In spiritual world, we see that there is no disagreement. Everybody is in the same place, wants to please the Lord. That is the only uh, goal. But here we see that it is material world, it is different. We are all affected by some or other material desires, and often there is some conflict. So here we classical example we see that of course Prithu Maharaj is a pure devotee, uh, and he want to perform this 100 sacrifice for glorification of the Lord to please him, and King Indra doesn't want him to do this because he's afraid that he will take away my position. So this all going on, then Lord himself appears. Lord himself appears and this he is settling down the matter. So the Lord actually he says to Pitu Maharaj that you don't have to do this 100 sacrifice. There is no need for you. Just give it up. Then Pitu Maharaj instantly decides not to conduct this 100 sacrifices because the Lord himself is telling, and he wants to please the Lord. So by what the Lord is being pleased is most important. So he quits that. And we see that after this, uh, the Lord was speaking to him, and Prithu Maharaj starts worshipping the Lord. So in this whole incident, there's a good observation that though there is some fight between devotees, but unlike fighting or some issues among non-devotees, the devotees are directly helped by the Lord. How they are helped? Yeah, actually, the Lord is there in everyone's heart as Paramatma. So when there's some disagreement or conflict among the devotees, we see that the Lord is there, who is involved, and he counsels them. So whenever they are sitting alone or with somebody, then some advice will reach to them from inside or from outside that we should do like that. No, that is not right. And we see that uh, they try to adjust to the situation. So this is the difference between non-devotees and between and the devotees. The devotees they are able to hear the sounds from Paramatma, able to hear the Paramatma's voice, and they're able to work like that. So it's easier for devotees to cooperate if they are following, they are actually serious in their bhakti. So it's easier for them to cooperate than non-devotees. Because for the non-devotees, uh, they are too much afflicted by false ego, pride, and they are not able to hear. They are not able to adjust to what's supposed to be done. So this is the difference between devotees and non-devotees. And here we see that adjustment was offered by Lord to pure devotee. Another interesting point is that the Lord did not say Indra to adjust. He asked Pithu Maharaj to adjust. He's telling that you adjust and you don't do 100 sacrifice. And Pithu Maharaj also very happily adjusted to that. But Prabhupada mentioned before leaving that your love towards me will be displayed how much all of you cooperate, how much you cooperate to push this movement forward. So that's what Srila Prabhupada gave us a barometer. How much we love, that much we'll cooperate for the sake of pushing this movement forward. We see that Pitu Maharaj instantly agreed that, okay, I won't do 100 sacrifice. Why he agreed? Why Pitu Maharaj agreed? Actually, it takes so much effort to conduct the 100th sacrifice. It's not easy. But as soon as Lord says, he immediately agreed. Why? Yeah, because he is, the basic thing is he is in love with Lord. He has this loving relationship with the Lord, and he does whatever he says, he is ready to do. Like uh, on the other hand, still Indra was not pacified. He was thinking that he shouldn't do that 100 sacrifice. I should be only called uh, the performer of the 100 sacrifices. Nobody else should get this title of credit. Still, he is thinking. But Prithu Maharaj, he actually immediately gave up the even thought of conducting the 100 sacrifice. Because he was in love with uh, Krishna. That's what Prabhupada is telling. How much you love me will be tested. That how much you are ready to cooperate to push this movement. That's a nice point, I felt. And when we are cooperating like this for the higher cause or for the devotional service, what is the outcome? This outcome is explained here that King Prithu, by cooperating with Indra, hmm, what is the cooperation? Indra wants him not to do 100 sacrifice. Hmm? And Prithu Maharaj, okay, agreed, I won't do 100 sacrifice. Are you happy? Yes. Hmm? So this is the cooperation. Actually, King Indra can go on with his business and Pitu Maharaj can continue with his business. There is no loss. Okay, things are going forward. So, and this is the cooperation. So, while doing this, we see that uh, Pitu Maharaj was able to please the Lord. The Lord was very much pleased with him. Read the previous verse. The great saint Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, in this way, Maharaj Pitu, the conqueror of the entire world, accepted the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead on his head. As King Indra was standing by, he became ashamed of his own activities and fell down before King Pitu to touch his lotus feet. But Prithu Maharaj immediately embraced him in great ecstasy and gave up all envy against him for his having stolen the horse meant for the sacrifice. So that's what we were previously discussing. That Indra is feeling ashamed. Why he is feeling ashamed? He's feeling ashamed because his inner voice is saying that no, you've not done the right thing. The Lord actually is, the Paramatma is sitting in his heart, is making him to understand that this is a heinous act he has performed. So that's not good thing he has done. That's what when devotees are fighting, it is easier for them to cooperate than non-devotees fighting. Why? Because when they go sit lonely or some by some other devotees or some other influence from inside or outside, they will be counseled. Paramatma is making a situation where they understand him. Yes, I have done wrong. So they come forward to correct. But with non-devotees, it will not be like this. They will always think, I am doing right. What I am doing is right. So that is difference. So here we see that Indra, he is a devotee of the Lord and not an ordinary devotee. We saw that. And by all these things are going on, he is feeling ashamed and is falling down before King Pithu to touch his lotus feet. This is the point we saw. Actually, we were looking for what is the outcome of such cooperation. So, outcome is the Lord is pleased. Uh, this is mentioned in next verse. We will just read the translation. The Lord was just about to leave. Everything is settled. The Indra is also begged forgiveness. Pitu Maharaj has also decided to stop the worship. I stop the sacrifices, and all these things is done. So the Lord is about to leave, but because he was so greatly inclined towards the behavior of King Pithu, he did not depart. Seeing the behavior of Maharaj Pithu with his lotus eyes, he was detained, but he is always the well-wisher of his devotees. Seeing the behavior of Maharaj Pithu with his lotus eyes, he was detained because he is always the well-wisher of his devotees. So the Lord is so much pleased that although he wants to leave, he is stayed back because he is very much pleased with Pithu Maharaj's behavior. So the result of the Lord's being pleased is that King Pithu, while worshipping the lotus feet of Lord, Pithu Maharaj gradually increased his ecstasy in the devotional service. This is the result, that Pithu Maharaj is feeling very blissful, very satisfied by doing his service. By worshipping the Lord, he is developing this Ashta Sattvic Vikara. That satisfaction, uh, that satisfaction is coming by cooperating with other devotees in devotional service. This is the outcome. We should understand what is outcome and what is the loss. Just by hearing the words of the Lord, in this case it is the Lord, it may be some other devotees also. In this case, it is the Lord. So just by following the Lord, he is immediately, instantly decided to follow that, and he felt greatly satisfied. Not only satisfied, he developed so much transcendental happiness that there was transformation in his body while worshipping the Lord. So this is the actually prayers Narottam Das Thakur also is writing. There's a Lalasamai prayer, that is the spiritual hankering of a devotee, telling that Gaurango bolite habe pulaka sarira Hari Hari bolite naine babinira. Telling when the time will come, when I chant the name of Lord Gauranga, Gauranga bolite habe Pulaka Sarira. Pulaka Sarira means the hair will stand on the end when that day will come. That just by chanting the names of Lord Gauranga, I will be so greatly happy that my hairs will be standing on the end. And chanting the names of Lord Hari, Hari Hari Bolite, Naine Babenira, when my eyes will be filled with tears. So these are the Astasatmik Vikar, the hairs standing on the end, tears are flowing from the eyes, constantly flowing. It's just chanting the name of Lord Gaurasundar, chanting the name of Hari. आर कबे निताई चाँद करुणा हबे विषय वासना मोर कबे तुच्छ हबे विषय छारिया कबे शुद्ध हबे मना कबे हम हेरी बोसी Vrindavana. So it's further, Narottam Das Thakur is further desiring that when Lord Nityananda will be greatly pleased upon me and all the desires, material desires will be nullified from my heart. So by pleasing one's spiritual master and thus Lord Nityananda, one actually becomes free from material desires. He's saying that when Lord Nityananda will be pleased, uh, so that all material desires will be nullified from my heart. He said, in this way, when my heart becomes purified, then when I will be hankering to live in Vrindavana, Tabe Ham Heribo Sri Vrindavana. So he's saying, Rupa Raghunath Pade Rahumora Asa Prathana Karaye Sada. So this prayer goes on like this, that he is desiring, he's seeing that desiring to take shelter of lotus feet of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. So by taking shelter of a pure devotee, he's telling that it will be possible. So we see here this that Prithu Maharaj, just because he agreed to cooperate, and the Lord becomes very satisfied with him. So just little cooperation we do, actually the Lord is very much pleased. Why he is pleased? Why he is pleased? Because it is said that Surhita Satam, the Lord is well-wisher of his devotees. Surhita Satam. So, in this conflict, actually, who is going to lose? And Indra is also devotee. So, who is going to lose? Both the parties, anyway, devotee will lose. Okay, he will be in loss. Correct or not? And but the Lord does not want this. Why he does not want this? Because he is Suhita Satam. He is the well-wisher of his devotee. Just Pitu Maharaj's cooperation actually has saved King Indra from his fall down. Correct? And since Pitu Maharaj has agreed to cooperate, then Lord, because he is being Suhita Satam of well-wisher of King Indra, was satisfied. Lord is satisfied. Why Lord is pleased? It's all spiritual, minute subjects. We should understand. Then we'll be able to actually act properly in certain situations. That just by cooperating, the Lord is pleased, because any side, devotee is only going to be in loss. And here Indra is going to be in loss because he has done wrong act. But by cooperating by Pitu Maharaj, he is being saved. And the Lord is, therefore, he is being satisfied by the act of Pitu Maharaj. Would have not been so much satisfied if the other person would have been just a material person. But Indra is not an ordinary personality. He is also a great devotee of the Lord. So, because Pitu has agreed to cooperate, the Lord was very pleased. And since the Lord is pleased, Pitu Maharaj in return is developing ecstatic feeling. That is the reward, that is the credit for Pitu Maharaj. Prabhupada is saying that the Lord is Bhakta Vatsala, which means that he is inclined towards his pure devotee, Bhakta. Therefore, the transcendental ecstatic transaction between the Supreme Lord and his devotees is never like the activities of this material world. So here, the activities, this pastimes of the Lord is transcendental. It is not like ordinary activities. Whatever actually the Lord does is transcendental. Similarly, whatever the Lord's pure devotee is also doing is transcendental. Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Nitai Gaur Sundar ki jai, Tit Pavan Prabhupada ki jai. So, generally, this hearing about some conflict, it is just a waste of time. But in this particular time, particular incident, hearing by this conflict, actually, we are getting purified. Why we are getting purified? Because the Lord is present and His pure devotees is present. So this actually free us from the influence of three modes. By hearing this pastimes, we actually we rise above the three modes. Therefore, it is said it is transcendental. The Lord is Bhakta Vatsala, which means that He inclines towards His pure devotee. Therefore, the transcendental ecstatic transaction between the Supreme Lord and His devotee is never like the activities of this material world. So, in this whole incident, in this negotiation, the Lord between Indra and Pithu Maharaj, who is more benefited? Why he could not perform 100 sacrifice? Hmm? Hmm? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yes. See, whatever we gain in material world is temporary. Correct or not? Uh, and whatever we gain in spiritual thing is permanent. See, all this incident, the Lord has asked Prithu Maharaj to compromise. Hmm? And by compromising Pithu Maharaj, he has developed as the Sattvic Vikar, not Indra. Of course, Indra is feeling ashamed, and then he is also correcting his offense. But he is not developed, is not mentioned he developed this ecstatic feeling. The ecstatic feeling is experienced by whom? Pithu Maharaj. And this is actually to his permanent credit. So who is benefited more? Much more. Pithu Maharaj only benefited much more. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Pratit Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions there we can discuss? Yes.
tries to promote artist plus majority of the people are
Uh, we cannot make a general statement that all of them are in three modes. Yeah, majority is there. They are in three modes. Therefore, in material world we are there. But even we see there are many pure devotees. There are so many pure devotees. Uh, to rise to the three modes of material nature, actually it is uh, the souls only responsible for that. The soul has to rise to the three modes of material nature. Actually, how much they are sincere, the Lord actually is facilitating. The living entity is sincere, the Lord facilitates. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tatha bhajamyaham. Krishna is telling that if we walk towards Krishna one step, Krishna walks 10 steps towards us. So we always get facilitated. Therefore, we actually progress in spiritual life because the Lord is helping from inside and outside is helping us. It's not that the Lord is just standing and watching. It's by the help of the Lord only we are able to rise to the three modes of material nature. The Lord is coming and explaining the process of bhakti. He is coming and establishing that I am the absolute truth. You see, there's so many ways the Lord is facilitating. After all these things is said and done, still the living entities they don't take up to the process of devotional service. So who is at fault? Huh? So that why they are not taking this devotional service? There's so much powerful material desires that they are not even ready to take devotional service. Instead of that, they take all the hardships for performing karma kanda, jnana kanda, upasana kanda. All these things are much more troublesome than doing a simple worship to the Lord. They're taking so much of trouble to do all these things because of intense material desire. This material desire is so intense that because of this material desires only we're changing body from one body to another body. And we are, whenever we take the body, actually this body is temporary, but it is source of trouble. Always some other trouble body will be given. So even though it is giving so much trouble, just to fulfill our certain desires, we are ready to take this material body. And because of this material desires only, we are not taking devotional service. So actually this is the free will of the living entity. The Lord by nature, He does not want to interfere with the free will of the living entities. Just because that is actually the meaning of our individuality is that we should have a free will. So the Lord actually doesn't interfere with our free will. So the living entity is only actually finally responsible if they are not rising above the three modes, not the Lord. The Lord is facilitating. If the Lord doesn't facilitate, then we can say that He is just watching the soul. He's facilitating, is coming again and again, is sending His pure devotees, is giving the process of devotional service, is helping from inside as Paramatma, outside as spiritual master. As soon as we become sincere, the Lord sends the pure representative. Like Dhruva Maharaja, he wanted to search out Narayana. Then immediately Narad Muni was inspired and then he met Dhruva Maharaj and guided him. And the Dhruva Maharaj followed that path and he was able to see the Lord Narayana and he went back to Godhead. So this is true for all the living entities. As soon as we become sincere, we will be facilitated. So Prabhupada says there are always two groups. One is wants to cheat, and the wants to be cheated. So by supernatural arrangement, they are meeting each other. When we are sincerely desiring to serve the Lord, actually the Lord from inside is facilitating us. No one can stop us. We only who are stopping ourselves. Nobody else is stopping. The chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare should be done attentively. The Lord is present in His holy name. Is not different from the Lord. But who is not hearing? Who is not hearing? We only not hearing. Why we are not hearing? Is it very difficult to hear? Huh? But this is what we see that mostly we don't hear. Why? Yeah. It's, yeah. Somehow or other we have convinced or we have decided not to hear. So like this. The Lord is not, He is always facilitating at all the moment is facilitating. संत श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय.